Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at some chonky slashes with the new 6+ dual units that have released over here on OPTC. Now, with the release of 6+ Cat Dog, 6+ Shanks Crew, and 6+ Bardo Cavendish, they all got pretty big buffs. Cat Dog probably got the biggest buff in regular play. Shanks Crew got a buff, I guess, but like was still pretty relevant, so it doesn't seem to be that much better than what they already were. Bardo Cavendish also got a very, very big buff with their 6+ and level limit break as well, but something that we gloss over when it comes to level limit break and 6+ is rumble abilities, and all three of these new dual unit 6+ and level limit breaks all boost slashes when it comes to rumble. So I thought we'd put them all on the same team. We take them into some rumble. In today's video, I have 4 matches for you guys. The first fight is up against a Psy build that uses Enel and Rebecca Toy Soldier. Now, stereotypically, they nerf slashes. They were put in the game to stop Roger and Odin. And as you guys saw there, I lost my Roger Whitebeard and my Odin from the Yamato special. Very, very unlucky. However, we still managed to get the dub because with these new 6+ slasher boosters, slashers now have defense. Slashers never had defense. They were always about attack and cooldown and killing the enemy before they had a chance to even pop their specials off. But now you can actually defend quite well with slashes. Shanks Crew gives defense. Bardo Cavendish do a lot of damage, but also give guard. Neko and Inu, they give healing and they give defense. They also do a lot of damage. And then if you chuck in Roger Whitebeard with their ability to basically just kill 2 units every time they use their special, and then your 5th unit either be Odin, Cracker for cooldown, or you can use Carrot Wanda for more healing and more attack as well. You guys will see a whole bunch of different variations. And just before I continue, yes, that is a level 150 Brule putting in absolute demon work. Like, doing absolute bits, taking shots, doing damage. She's a slasher too as well. So I did that as a bit of a flex and a bit of a meme with my homie Kruby, and turns out she's been really good on my slasher team because she's a 1-cost unit. So the first fight, getting it done against Psy, which was pretty big. Obviously Yamato taking out Odin and Roger Whitebeard is like our 2 biggest damage dealers, and Enel and Rebecca Toy Soldier literally nerf slashes into the ground. So to get the dub here was actually pretty impressive. So you love to see that. Very, very cool stuff. In saying that, though, I definitely wouldn't go up against a Psy build with slashes, even if they are pretty chonky, because max level Psy team is probably going to take the dub 99% of the time, but it was pretty nice to see that actually we could actually get it done, even when we lost our 2 big hitters. So that was the first fight. Now we're moving into like a Dex fight. Now this is obviously isn't the best Dex team going around, but it's very chonky. Defense teams stereotypically need to look like this. They need to store you out. They need to heal up and have lots of defense. But with slashes, they have access to Whitebeard and Roger. Wow, that was really hard to say for some reason. Whitebeard and Roger has the ability to ignore defense and just absolutely tear through stuff like 5 or 6-man teams, provided they manage to stay alive. So make sure to have Whitebeard Roger on the left or the right hand side, so that way they don't take as much damage, because really they're not buffing anyone except for the slasher buff that they give. There's no Psy, there's no int units on the team. You can put Dofi on this team to make it more chunky, instead of something like Odin, Cracker, or Carrot Wanda, but I found that those 3 were probably the best because you had enough defense anyway. So the moral of this video that I sort of wanted to put out is just be careful of slashes, because now they have a bunch of different variations, whether it's the attacking variation with K-Dad and Kizaru and Odin, Cracker with all that cooldown, or if it's something like your defensive operations of Shanks Crew, Carrot, Wanda, Neko, Inu, now Bardo Cavendish. But the one staple will always be Whitebeard and Roger. And Whitebeard and Roger, they can literally just change the game by killing 2 units. They can basically do what Yamato does just every single time they pop off their special. So if you can get their cooldowns nice and quick, and that's why I find Odin to probably be the best option if you are running a chonkier build, or running something like Cracker can work as well, because you're getting a bunch of cooldowns. Same with Kizaru. Kizaru is another actually really, really good option now that I'm thinking about it, because he actually gets buffed from Whitebeard and Roger. But the one that I found the most success with is Odin, because Odin not only gives you cooldowns, but he gives you attack, then he buffs strength as well, which is only him, which is okay because he's getting a buff. And then he also does a lot of damage. He does some fixed damage, and then he does a bunch of damage after that, and he can kind of clean up scraps, especially if enemies have a very high defense stat, because his fixed damage will do a lot. But the moral of this video is the 3 new 6+ level limit breaks of Shanks Crew, of Neko Inu, and Bardo Cavendish. We're going to start off with Neko Inu, because they were the first 6+ dual unit, and basically what they do is they do a butt ton of damage with their special, and they do a bunch of healing as well. So they're very, very handy to have after you've taken a bunch of shots, so that way you can heal back up to a nice level. You can do a bunch of damage as well, plus their ability boosts slashes and cerebrals, so you can run them either on a cerebral team or on a slasher team. Here obviously we're using them on slashes, and they actually work incredibly well on both teams, so be careful if you see Neko Inu on defensive operations, because their healing can sort of prolong the fight, especially if you partner them up with stuff like Carrot and Wonder. Next, we've got Shanks Crew. Shanks Crew is a HP cutter, which helps out a lot, especially if you do see him on a defensive team, because the HP cuts can be very nasty, especially on that cerebral team, or on something like your just like HP cuts and fixed damage teams with stuff like Tesoro. So just be aware of that. Not only do they HP cut, but they also give a bunch of buffs to slashes now, as well as giving defense up for your entire team when you're below 70 seconds or within a particular radius. So Shanks Crew is very, very good. They were always really good in Rumble, especially on release as well, because slashes were so good, and especially on defensive teams too, because they would just basically give the slashes enough defense to hold out, get the special off. And I always found if I came up against a Shanks Crew defense build in the early slasher days, I would stereotypically lose the fights compared to if Shanks Crew wasn't there, because Shanks Crew could just, like I said, hold them out for their special, especially with Whitebeard and Roger running around now. The final unit is Bardo Cavendish. Now, Bardo Cavendish is an interesting one because they're a defensive unit, but they don't really give defense. I think they boost driven and slashes, but I know they give guard. The other thing that I know that they do is a shit ton of damage. They do so much goddamn damage that it's not even funny. They give themselves something like level 8 attack up, and then they do damage, and like they can basically just wipe a whole team if everyone is sort of congregated in the same area, especially if they go after something like Shanks Crew or Odin and his fixed damage. You just do some crazy stuff there. As I was talking about with the other units, as you guys saw in that last fight, we had Cracker there for the cooldowns. You could use Kizaru as well if you have him at level limit break 5 as well. He's another very, very good option. And then you also have stuff like Carrot and Wonder. Carrot and Wonder, if you're looking for that bulkier sort of dual unit build, they work great because they can give healing. Plus, you do have an extra spot for your bench. Now, for me, I've just been running Pell. Pell's a slasher, funny enough. So he works well on this team. Dalton's another option. He's a slasher as well. You could also run something like Brogy or Dory, or you could even put King on the team. But for me, I always just find that just using something like Pell works incredibly well, because Pell gets all of those slasher buffs, plus he boosts himself drastically. He gives himself the Dex buff, he gives himself the Powerhouse buff, and if he comes in and uses his special, like I think he actually does in this particular fight, he can basically just bink out a whole bunch of units. So Pell is just an absolute monster, by far the best PvP rare recruit in the game. Yeah, I think this is the fight. He goes bink, bink, bink. Oh, he didn't kill Yamato, damn. But still, the fact that he can do that much damage across the board for like 4 units, and then give defense up as well for the team, just it does absolute wonders. So be careful with slashes on defense. They were running absolute riot in the PvP, Super PvP. That's when we kind of like started going, oh, hang on, like slashes are kind of back a little bit, but it's more, like I always say, with class teams, it's more defense based, and you probably will see some different variations to the ones you're seeing in today's video, because today's video is about offense, right? Can't really showcase a defensive team, but just wanted to make you guys aware that these characters are very, very good on defense, and we have been seeing them a lot more lately, so just be mindful of that when you are sort of doing your daily PvP. But it's going to wrap up the video anyway, homies. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and bell the like button for me if you're new to the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Laters!